Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam. Om Bhadram Karnebhih Shrunuyama Devaah Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraah Sthirairangaih Stushtvagum Sastanubhih Yashema Devahitam Yadayuh Swasti न इंद्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. We were looking at the Jiveshwara Aikyam, which the Upanishad was revealing to us. So how did it reveal that? It first presented that Brahman itself entered this world, correct? As the Jiva. Brahman alone is the one which is deluded by this Maya, and that alone is undergoing experiences as the waker. Then Brahman alone was presented as the one who is experiencing the dream and deep sleep also. So Brahman and Jiva are not separate. Then it was presented that Jiva alone is the one who is the cause of everything, all this variegated world. From the Jiva alone, all these things are arising. In that manner, the identity between Jiva and Brahman what was presented here. In fact, the Jiva was shown as the Avasthatraya Sakshi. So one who is the witness consciousness of all the three states of experience. So that Jiva is also presented as the Brahman here. And further, two more Vakyas were presented where first the Atma Anatma Viveka was given by saying that in all the three states of experience, whatever which is there as the Bhokta, Bhogyam and the Bhoga itself, the enjoyment, all that is only Anatma, and I am the Sakshi of that. Okay? And I am separate from that. Tebhyaha Vilakshanaha Sakshi. And I am only Chinmatraha. I am only this conscious being who is witnessing all these activities. The enjoyment, the enjoyer, whatever is enjoyed, all that also is not really me. They are all Anatma only. They all belong to only Prakriti, really speaking. And I am only this Chaitanya Swarupa, which is the most auspicious, which is the Ananda Swarupa also. So like this, first the Atma Anatma Viveka, or the difference between Atma and Anatma is presented. But then again, everything is accounted for by saying Mayeva Sakalam Jatam, Mai Sarvam Pratishtitam, Mai Sarvam Layam Yati, Tad Brahma Advayam Ahamasmi. So even though Atma and Anatma are different, but the Anatma for its very existence depends on the Atma alone, because Atma alone is the cause of everything. The Atma alone is Satyam. And all the Karya, which is only Nama Rupa, all that is Mithya. So the entire Mithya Jagat, for that Atma alone is the Karana. So from me only everything is born, by me everything is sustained, into me only everything resolves. That Atma is me. Like this, up to this we saw, it is called the Prathama Kandaha. First Kanda is over with this. Now, again, in fact, the second Kanda starts with more of showing that what Brahman is not. Okay? Whatever you think Brahman is, all those things it is negating here. More of Apavada, you can say. So whenever we talk about Srishti in the Shastra, or even saying that Brahman is a Jagat Karanam, it is called actually Adhyaropa. Means deliberately we are superimposing the causation onto Brahman only to show the Mithyatvam of the world. But in itself, Brahman is not even a cause, because since the world itself is Mithya, the state of being a cause also is Mithya only. Is it clear? It's not real. Like saying that the cause of the dog is stone, you can say that. But that is only from the standpoint of the dog. If you accept there is a dog, then we have to say the dog is there because of the stone only. Without stone, there cannot be any dog. You have a dog sculpture. But if you look at it only as stone, there is no question of any dog or anything, correct? You won't even see the dog. There is only stone. We are not even seeing the dog. We need not see it. If you see it only as stone. So from the standpoint of stone, there is only stoneness is there. In the stone, there is no dog really. But if you see the dog, there is no dog without it being the stone, because it is a stone dog. This is the inequality we have to understand. In fact, the same thing Bhagavan talks about in the 9th chapter also. In the beginning of the 9th chapter, he first says that all the bhutas, all the beings are all in me, like that. And then nachame mastani bhutani pashyame yogam aishwaram, like that he says. Nacha mastani bhutani pashyame yogam aishwaram. Means there is nothing in me. Only in the previous line he says all the beings are there in me. Then immediately he says nothing is there in me. That is my Aishwarya. That is my greatness, or that is the magic, in fact. How can he say like that? Is it not contradictory? Means it is purely a shifting of the standpoint. From the standpoint of the Mithya Jagat, we have to say that Bhagavan is the one who is the cause of everything. In Bhagavan only everything rests. Because everything has its adhara in Bhagavan, correct? That way we can say Mastani Sarvani Bhutani. All the bhutas are there in me. Like that Bhagavan can say. But from Bhagavan's own standpoint, if you only look at Chaitanyam as it is, there is no Jagat in that. Nachamastani Bhutani. So it is the same thing. It's very easy to understand once you understand this. It's the same even with clay pot, correct? A pot cannot be there without clay being there, correct? Or without it being the clay. Because if you touch the pot, you are touching the clay. If you weigh the pot, you are weighing the clay. Actually, there is clay only because clay alone exists. Pot is only a name and form. It can even also have a function. Because only if the clay is in the form of a pot, it can hold water, correct? So the name, form and function, that is called Nama Rupa Kriya. These three things are only Mithya. Like that, even in the Brihadaranyaka also it is said, Nama Rupa Kriya is always talked about in the Upanishad, but they don't have any independent existence. The Nama Rupa Kriya, they have only dependent existence. And what is there is only the Vastu. Now, from the standpoint of the Nama Rupa, if you look at it, then we have to say the cause of the existence of Nama Rupa is the Vastu only, the material cause, whatever is there. So when you look at the pot, you have to say it is clay. And clay is the cause for the existence of pot. That is also correct. Because there is no pot without it being the clay. Or even when you perceive the pot, you have to perceive the clay. The potness is there only in clay, so to speak. Or it is superimposed on the clay, we have to say. But if you look at it only as clay, in the clayness, in your appreciation of clay, there is no potness, correct? There is no potness. If you want to understand clay, you understand clay as clay. There is nothing called potness in the clay, or you need not even think about potness when you are trying to understand the Vastu clay. So in clay, there is no potness. But if there is a clay pot, it is always clay. So this is the inequality, or this is the thing you have to understand, where we are shifting from one order of reality to another order of reality. It may look contradictory. So most of the statements in the Gita and even in the Upanishads, we have to understand from which standpoint this statement is being made. If it is an Adhyaropa portion, then it is accepting the world and it is trying to account for the perception of the world by saying that this entire world has come only from Brahman. But then when it is doing Apavada, means it is negating everything in Brahman. Because when we understand Brahman as Brahman, in that there is no world. That is called Ajati Vada. It's talked about even in the Mandukya Karika also. Gaudapada finally says that Nanirodo Nachotpattihi. Like that he says, there is no creation, there is no dissolution, there is no guru, there is no sishya. Like that he keeps saying. So in reality, in fact, this is also a problem. If you say everything is mithya, then how can the guru teach the shishya? This is a question. Dvaitins raise these questions actually. Then we say, who said teaching is real? We didn't say teaching is real. Teaching is as real as your bondage. Is that clear? We are saying bondage itself is unreal. So why do you require a real teaching for getting rid of this bondage? So the guru is only as real as the shishya. Teaching is only as real as your own problem, which is the bondage. That's why Pujya Swamiji always says Vedanta does not see any problem. For Vedanta, actually, there is no problem. That's all it's trying to teach you. In reality, there is no problem for you. But we cannot tell you straight away that. Then we have to say, okay, you have some problem. So you take care of it like this, like that. Then finally, anyway, we have to tell you there is no problem. So in fact, Swamiji himself used to say that the most difficult thing for a teacher is to assume that you have problem and then teach, because the teacher does not see any problem in anybody. Teacher does not see a problem in herself or himself also. But teacher has to still talk to the students as though they have a problem. So Vedanta doesn't see any problem. There is no problem for anybody, in fact. So the Gaudapada says that in so many words. He says that there is no creation, there is no dissolution, there is no teacher. Like that, there is a verse also. So these things also we have to understand when we talk about the reality, from which standpoint a particular statement is made. This has to be clear to us. Otherwise, it may look confusing to you. Okay. So here again, if you see, the Upanishad is talking about the like Brahman is beyond everything. All kinds of conceptions you may have, it is beyond that. So it's explicitly saying that again. Anoraniyan ahameva tadvat mahanaham vishwamaham vichitram. So you can see here again, it's very contradictory. It says anoraniyan. So I am the smaller than the smallest, you have to say, correct? Anuhu is atom, you have to say. Because even the Nayayikas talk about Anus and Paramanus and all that. They are the original, or the actually Nayayika means the Vaisheshika. Vaisheshikas only are talking about the Paramanus. They are the original atomic theorist. Although in our school book and all, we studied some Dalton's theory of atomic, whatever, Dalton's atomic theory like that, but that was all very, very late. 2000 years before that only, Kanada has talked about Paramanu. So according to the Vaisheshika, Paramanu is not even visible. It's not visible through naked eye. But they somehow theorize that there is a Paramanu. And then two Paramanus come together and form Dvenuk, they say. That is called Dvenuk. That also is not visible. Then three Dvenuks have to come together and form a Trenuk. Then Trenuk onwards it is visible. Like that there is a theory is there. That is the Vaisheshika theory. But they have Paramanus for every Mahabhuta. That means Akasha has its own Paramanu, Vayu has its own Paramanu, Apaha has its own Paramanu, Agni has its own Paramanu, Prithvi has its own Paramanu, like that. And these Paramanus are all Nityam for them. So like this, they have a very weird theory. And Paramanus are indivisible. Paramanu is like a quantum again, right? It becomes indivisible at its level. So like this, it's our theory. But then what do you say about this Brahman? Brahman is smaller than even whatever Anu you can think of. Means, as I told you again, it is not subjected to any measurement. It transcends all measurements. Or even if you remove all the names and forms also, what you will find is Brahman alone is there. Because somebody has to cognize it. Even if you remove everything, who is cognizing it? Consciousness can never be removed. Even if we talk about physical vacuum, like I told you, who is cognizing that vacuum? There is nothing called vacuum for us. That's why it's always Brahman alone. Even if you remove everything, Brahman is there. Even if you include everything also, Brahman alone is there for us. That's what that Purna Madaha, Purna Midam also says the same thing. If the world is not there also, it is Purnam. After the world has come also, it is same thing. Same Purnam alone is there. The same Vastu is there. If you remove all the names and forms, that means the new, whatever world you added, you remove all that. Still the same thing is there. You add it also, it is there. Like that. That's what that Purnamadaha, Purnamidam, Purnat Purnamudachyate. Like that. That particular Shanti mantra is beautiful. So this Brahman is beyond all measurements, all ideas of spatial measurement. Correct? Anoraniyan Ahameva. So here it's not even talking about Brahman, it straight away talks about Atma itself. Atma is smaller than the smallest. Fine. Then is it very, because the other thing is different Darshanakaras have different ideas about what this Atma is. That also I have to tell you. Because I think the Vaisheshikas and Nayayikas say Atma is Anuparimana actually. Actually, they say that it is Anuparimana, means it is like an atomic in size. The Jainas say it is of the size of the body. Okay. And I think Buddhists say there is no Atma at all. Okay, they are Nairatmyavadi. So like this, there are different opinions about the Atma itself. So what is this Atma? Means Upanishad is saying Atma is smaller than the smallest and bigger than the biggest also. It says Tadvat Mahanaham. I am the greatest also. I am smaller than the smallest. I am greater than the greatest, or I am the greatest. Mahanaham. And not only that, Vishwamaham Vichitram. I am the one who is this entire world. Vishwam, whatever you see here, all that is here, all the variegated things, they are all not separate from me. It is me alone. So Aham, Vishwamaham, Vichitram. And then was I ever born? Means no. Puratanaha Aham. I'm very old. Very old means what? Basically, it is negating that you are born. Otherwise, normally we are thinking we are born in this year and all that. But it is saying Atma has no birth. It is birthless, it is beginningless. So Puratanaha. So time-wise also, it is very old. Okay. Means it transcends time again. Then Purushaha. So the word Purushaha again can be understood in two ways. Purnat Purushaha, like that. One Vyutpatti is there. So that which is complete, whole, that which does not lack anything. That is the meaning of Purna. And Puri Shayanat Purushaha also is there. The one who resides in the Navadware Pure Dehi, like that. Gita also Bhagavan says that. And it is there, this fort analogy is there in Katha Upanishad also. The body itself is looked upon as a fort, and the one who lives inside the fort, the Shariri, correct? So the Shariri or Dehi is this Atma, one who is living in the fort with 9 gates. Navadware Pure Dehi. And naiva kurvan na karayan, like that Bhagavan says. Even there, this Atma doesn't do anything. It is just sitting there in the fort without doing anything because it is akarta. So that Purushaha means one who Purishayanat Purushaha, one who is there in the fort of this body, body mind sense complex. Like that also we can take Purushaha, Aham Ishaha means I am the Lord. I am also the Lord of all. So I am not this puny being, individual. So all these things are only negation of your wrong notions again. Aham Ishaha. Again, Aham Hiranmayaha means Hiranmayaha again is lustrous, shining. Means basically consciousness alone is shining, correct? So Hiranmaya means Svaprakashaha because whatever is lustrous is shining by itself. Like that, I am always shining. Hiranmaya Shiva Rupam Asmi, and I am of the nature of auspiciousness itself, Ananda Swarupa. So again, these Vakyas can be used for Nididhyasanam. These are all for Nididhyasanam because it is direct. It's not even talking about Brahman as something third thing or whatever. It is about yourself. Everywhere it is Aham, Anoraniyan, Aham, Ahameva, Tadvat Mahanaham, Vishwamaham Vichitram, Puratanaha Aham, Purushaha Aham, Ishaha, Hiranmayaha Aham, Shivarupam Asmi. Like this. This is for contemplation, for Nididhyasanam. These Upanishad Vakyas are very, very clear. Further, what? You think that you have a body, you have two hands, two legs, and all that, correct? Even that also Upanishad want to get rid of all these notions. So what does it say next? Apani padoham achintya shaktihi pashyami achakshuhu sashrinomi akarnaha. So I don't have any pada or pani. I don't have any hands or legs. You think you have a body, then only you can say I have hands, legs, and all that. But you are not the body, you are not confined to even one body. So aham apani padaha. In reality, I am only this conscious being which does not have any limbs or anything. And aham achintya shaktihi also means I am all the power which is there here is my power only here. It cannot be even estimated, correct? You cannot even think how much it is. It's inexplicable power, you can say. Achintya Shakti means you cannot even fathom it. It is so much that all the power which is there here, Sarva Shakti is my Shakti alone. It's all Chit Shakti only. Whatever is there here is all the Shakti of this Chaitanyam. And this Chaitanyam is so great, it sees, but without any eyes. It is the one which really sees everything. It is the one which sees whether your eyes are seeing or not also is known to only this consciousness. That's why it is called Drishtahe Drashtaram. It is the seer of sight itself. That's how Atma is revealed by the Upanishads. Chakshushas Chakshuhu, Drishtahe Drashtaram. These are all the words used. So this Atma sees, but it does not have any eyes. Without eyes, it's able to see. Similarly, it is the one which is hearing. It knows whether your ears are hearing or not, but it does not have any ears. So it says, Shrinomi Akarnaha. So I hear, but I don't have any ears. Without any ears, this Atma is hearing everything. Okay. Similarly, what? Aham Vijanami Vivikta Rupaha. So I am the one who knows everything. Whatever is there here, everything becomes known to me only, correct? I am the one to whom everything is known. All that is here, which are all there in various forms. Okay, in fact, I only assume all these various forms, and I know all these things. I know everything, whatever is there here, in different forms. All of these things, I am the knower of that. Everything becomes evident to me. I know everything. But nobody can know me. That is the point here. All the objects become evident to me, but I never become an object of any cognition or knowledge. So the Upanishad beautifully says that, correct? Nachasti veta mama. So mama veta nasti. There is nobody who knows me. Means not to say that you cannot have Atma Jnana. It is to say that I never become an object of knowledge. I am always this conscious being to whom everything is becoming evident. But I myself, I never become an object of knowledge. I cannot be objectified by the mind or words. So that's what again it says that because aham vijanami vivikta rupa. So everything becomes evident to me. But then it says nachasti veta mama. Mama veta means the one who knows me. There is nobody like that. Nobody can know me because I am aham aprameyaha. I never become a prameya or an object of knowledge. That is my very nature. In fact, chit sadaham. I am this consciousness alone. Always I am this conscious being who never becomes an object of knowledge. So that's what is revealed here again. So these two vakyas we saw again for contemplation, for nididhyasanam, very apt actually, because it is also everywhere it is talking about aham, aham, aham. And each of these vakyas, if you contemplate and you have to see yourself in the light of these words. So that's how, that for that only it has been given here. Further what? Vedair ahameva vedyaha Vedanta Kritveda Videva Chaham. In fact, this looks like we everyday chant, correct? Vedaischa Sarvair Ahameva Vedya, like that is there in the Gita. Here there is a slight difference. Vedair Anekaihi. There it is Vedaischa Sarvair Ahameva Vedya. In the Upanishad it says Vedaihi Anekaihi Ahameva Vedya. So this what does it what is the meaning of this? The tatparya of all the shastras, all the Vedas is to only reveal this Atma Swarupa. That is the Parama tatparya of the Veda. Veda may be talking about karma 99% of the time, but even then, all that karma kanda also is there only to prepare for this jnanam, so that you can know yourself, your true nature. So revealing the Atma Swarupa alone is the tatparya of all the Vedas, all the Shastras, whether it is Purana. All the Puranas are also highly Advaita only they are teaching. You can, even the Bhagavata Purana, as I told you, which all these Vaishnavas claim as though it is there something, correct? If you go to and talk to many of these Vaishnavas, they will say Bhagavata is bigger than even Veda. Like that they will say. But then they don't even translate many of the verses in the Bhagavata because it is so Advaita Para. They just ignore. The first verse of the Bhagavata itself is talking about Advaita only. So they cannot. So on what basis they are saying all that, I don't know. But anyway, they are all closed. Their minds are already closed, so they don't just see it or they don't want to see it. But all the Shastras are only talking about the Atma Swarupa as the Ekameva Advitiyam here. Okay, Vedair Anekaihi Ahameva Vidya. I am the only Prameya. Or they are all revealing me only, my nature. And also Vedanta Krit, Veda Videva Chaham. So here Vedanta Krit means, beautifully Bhashyakara in the Gita Bhashya, literally it means I created the Vedanta, correct? But then Bhashyakara says Vedanta Sampradaya Krit. Like that, he adds the word Sampradaya there. So that's why the Sampradaya is very important. The teaching tradition, the teaching methodology is very important. Only those who have come in the parampara, they know the sampradaya or the methodology to teach. The methodology to teach this vastu is the Adhyaropa Apavada. That is the only way we can teach. And since it is subtle, correct? This whole knowledge is very subtle. It's not easily understood by people. So it has to be taught also in a certain manner, carefully. So that's why there is a teaching tradition which exists. That tradition has to be followed. The traditional methodology of teaching is very important. And here the Upanishad says, Bhagavan also says, Vedanta Krit Veda Videva Chaham. So I am the one who initiated this Vedanta teaching methodology. I am the initiator of this methodology of teaching Vedanta or Vedanta, and I know all the Vedas also. Veda Videva Chaham. So I am the knower of all the Vedas, and Vedas themselves are revealing only me, and I am also the initiator of this Vedanta teaching. Okay. And again, from an individual standpoint, we all think that everybody has guilt and fear and all that, correct? Omissions and commissions are there for everybody. So again, the Upanishad is addressing all that. It says for a jnani, these things cannot be there. So even in the Taittiriya Upanishad also it comes. Kimaham sadhuna karavam, kimaham papam karavam iti, saya evam vidvanete atma naggas prunute, ubhehye vaisha atma naggas prunute, ye evam veda. Like that. Kimaham sadhuna karavam means what? Why did I not do the good things? That is omission. Kimaham papam karavam iti. Why did I do the wrong things? So omissions and commissions are there for everybody. But for the Vidwan, none of these things can touch the Vidwan because Vidwan is not a karta. Vidwan not being a karta bhokta, none of these things can touch the Vidwan. So here also you can see here, it is saying, na punya pape mama nasti nashaha. So punya and papa are not there for me because I am not a karta. So I cannot have any guilt and fear and all that. Also fear of death and all that cannot be there. Nashaha nasti mama. And there is no destruction for me. I can never be destroyed or there is no death for me. Correct? Acchedyoyam adahyoyam akledyo shoshya evacha nitya sarvagatasthanu achaloyam sanatanaha. So same thing in the Gita also Bhagavan talks about the Atma Swarupa means Atma is indestructible. It is not even an object of any action. It cannot be an object of any action. So none of the Mahabhutas can do anything to this Atma. You cannot cut it, you cannot drown it, you cannot whatever. The wind also cannot do anything, fire cannot burn, nothing can be done to this Atma. So Nashaha Nasti. So I cannot be destroyed. Then what? Other misconceptions also again it is addressing. Na janma dehendriya buddhihi asti. So this is more like that Nirvana Shatkam and all is there, correct? Something, these things only have gone into that Nirvana Shatkam also we have to say, correct? So there also Shankara is supposed to have written even the Nirvana Shatkam. But Shivananda Rupa, Shivoham and all like that it ends. So in that also it is said, I am not this Deha, I am not this Indriyas, I am not the Buddhi. All these things will come in the Nirvana should come. Similarly, so here also it says, Na Janma, I don't have any birth. Because generally people think that I am born, then what? Jayate, Asti, Jayate, Vardhate, Viparinimate, Apakshiyate, Vinashyati, like this, it is called Shad Bhava Vikara. So everybody thinks that I am subjected to this Shad Bhava Vikara, means what? Anything which exists, what is the first it is there as like a fetus or whatever, then it is born. So Asti Jayate. Then Vardhate, it grows. Then it becomes an adolescent and all that. Viparinamate, you attain adulthood. Then apakshiyate means then decline, becoming old age and all that. Then dies. Vinashyati. So these 6 things are there. It is like a life cycle, correct, for everybody. This is the life cycle. Everybody thinks that I am subjected to this life cycle. In Shastra comes and says you don't have any Shadbhava Vikara, na Janma, and you don't have, by just saying Janma, everything else also is not there. If Janma itself is not there, none of the other Bhava Vikaras can be there, and you don't have any Deha, Indriya, Buddhihi, none of that is there for you. So, na Dehendriya Buddhihi Asti Mama. For me, there is no Deha, there are no Indriyas, Buddhi also is not there. It's not in a bad way, okay? Sometimes we say, Buddhi irka. We do ask like that. But it's not like that. You say that you are neither a knower nor you are an ignorant person. None of this applies to you. So buddhihi nasti, dehaha nasti, indriyaha. None of them are there. And also what? All these mahabhutas, next it takes up. Na bhumihi, apaha, nacha vanhihi asti. Basically it is talking ajativad. None of these mahabhutas are really there. Okay. So there is no bhumi. There is no water also, apaha. Nacha vanhihi asti. Fire also is not there really. Means they do not have any independent existence. Nacha anilaha. Means there is no wind also. Anilaha. And what? Me asti nacha. Me asti nacha ambaram cha. Yeah. So the space also is not there. Here ambaram means space. So we are starting here. Normally we start from space to bhumi, correct? But here it is going in the reverse order. It is starting from the grossest and it is going to the subtlest. So first to the bhumi, it says bhumi is not there, apaha is not there, vanni is not there. Then anilaha also it is not there for me. And ambaram also is not there. Space also is not there. So why it is saying is, anyway it has already said deha is not there for me. Because our deha and mind are also elementals only, correct? They are all formed from the mahabhutas only. Our body itself is having this pancha mahabhuta only. But not only the body, even our indriyas are all derived from the pancha mahabhuta. If you see our srishti prakriya, we say that the shrotrendriya is from akasha, correct? And then we say the chakshuhu is from agni, and taste is from apaha. Then the touch is vayu, and smell is prithvi. So the panchabhutas only, their sattva guna becomes the 5 indriyas. Then their sattva gunas put together becomes the mind, because mind is the one which is backing up all the indriyas. So it has the qualities of all the indriyas put together. That is the mind. So the sattva guna of all these mahabhutas become your mind. Then the rajo guna of all these mahabhutas become the prana and the karmendriya. Okay. And then the tamo guna of this mahabhuta only becomes your physical body. So even in the physical body, all 5 are there, correct? Carbon and all that is for 75%, 70% of the body is water and all that they say. If there is no water, we will all be powders only. Correct? One powder talking to another powder, it will be funny, I think, anyway. So this body is 70% water, but some 30% is still carbon and all that is there. Temperature has to be maintained, correct? That means without Agni again, body will not function. If temperature becomes too much also, there is a problem. And then, of course, you have to breathe. Without air, there is no physiological activity. And then, of course, without Akasha also, you have to have space in between, correct? Your esophagus and all that, intestine, stomach, everywhere, space, even within years also you have to have space. Of course, here you should not have too much space, but that is fine. So our physical body also is only Panchabhuta. So everything is Panchabhuta only. And now, but this Upanishad is coming and saying, for me, there is none of these bhutas are not there for me. Means basically it is negating all the Sharira Trayam only. Along with the Mahabhutas, you do not have any Sharira. Sharira Trayam also is negated. In totality also, all these things are not there. In reality, none of these things are there. Only Brahman alone is there. Chaitanya Vastu alone is there. So that is the vision here. So the Upanishad is revealing that vision to us. None of these other things are there. So if you see, all these three vakyas are all only negation, completely apavada. Because the Adhyaropa, once it is done, the Upanishad is thorough in doing apavada. This is there in all the Upanishads. Whichever Upanishad you take, the teaching methodology is same. Certain details only vary. The presentation and all that. The subject matter of all the Upanishads are exactly the same. They are all teaching the same thing. And in fact, that's why our Pujya Swamiji also used to say that some people call whatever has been commented by Shankara as major Upanishad and others are all minor and all that. Pujya Swamiji never accepted that classification. He said, for Shankara had his own reasons to comment on certain Upanishads, but that doesn't mean only they are major and others are minor and all that. Kaivalya Upanishad is a great Upanishad in itself, and whatever is there, whatever it is revealing, it's all the details are there in this. All the different prakriyas are also there, starting from Karana Karya Prakriya, and the Avasthatraya also is talked about here. Even sannyasa as a sadhana is talked about. And of course, in the beginning, Shraddha, Bhakti, Dhyanam. So like this, if we see in this Upanishad, all the topics which we normally talk about in Vedanta, everything is covered in a very concise manner in this Upanishad. Nothing is left out. So we can see that here. And then what? Evam viditva paramatma rupam guhashayam nishkalam advitiyam samasta sakshim sadasad vihinam prayati shuddham paramatma rupam. So evam viditva means what? Having known in this manner, because all the previous three vakyas we saw, it actually negated all the nama rupa, everything, the entire jagat has been negated. Only the Atma Swarupam alone is there, which is Nityam Jnanam Anantam. So you have to know in this manner. So having known in this manner what? Paramatma Rupam. So you know the nature of yourself as the ultimate reality. So having known that in this manner, and where did you know? Because it is available only in the mind again. Understand that. Even though we talk about all these things, it's not something beyond your mind or anything like that. You have to know it only in the Samskrita Manaha, the mind which has been, you can say, prepared by the teachings of the Shastra and Guru. That mind alone is knowing in this manner. So Guhashayam means what? That which is available in your mind. That which is manifest in your mind, because this Chaitanyam is available in your mind as the very awareness. It is manifesting in the mind only, because mind is subtle. Mind is the Sattva Guna of all the Mahabhutas, we say. So in that only the consciousness manifests. Although everything is consciousness, but everything is not sentient in the creation, correct? We do say that certain things are insentient and only some are sentient. That is only because of the way the consciousness itself manifests. Even though consciousness is there everywhere, only in the mind it manifests more, you can say, or it manifests in a way it is recognizable. So this this thing is available in the mind, Guhashayam. So you know it because it is available in your mind. And it is Nishkalam. Okay, Nishkalam means again partless. I already told you. So some Upanishads say that Shodasha Kala Purushaha. Each being has 16 kalas and all that, mainly based on all the indriyas, prana and all that, correct? Manas. Like that you can count. And name also is included in that, I told you. So even if the jnani gives up the deha, the 15 parts go away, name alone remains. Like that it is said. So it is, but anyway, Nishkalam, in reality, there are no parts. Atma is a partless whole. And it is Advitiyam. So it is one without a second. There is no second thing which is there. And Samasta Sakshim, it is the witness of all. It is the witness of everything. All that is there here, as I tell you, all that is there here becomes evident to you. And whatever you cognize, they all keep changing, but you are the invariable in each and every cognition. And that's what has to be appreciated. The invariable in each and every cognition we miss. We are more focused on the changing names and forms and cognizing that. But instead you focus on the invariable Chaitanya, which alone is there in each and every cognition. Without that Chaitanya, there is no cognition. So understand the invariable in each and every cognition means you have understood your true nature. Samasta Sakshim Sadasat Vihinam. Again, see. So here Sat, Asat can be taken as cause and effect also. Satchatyacha bhavat niruktancha niruktancha nilayanancha nilayanancha vijnanancha vijnanancha satyancha nritancha satyam abhavat. Like that even in Taittiriya Upanishad also it comes. Satyancha anritancha satyam abhavat. Like that it says. So many times this Sat and Asat also, depending on the context, it can have different meanings. It can be simply mean that which exists and that which does not exist. Existence and non-existence also you can say as Sat and Asat. Okay, but sometimes it can also mean that which is tangible and that which is intangible. Tangible can be called as Sat, intangible can be called as Asat, or that which is manifest is called as Sat, that which is unmanifest is called Asat. So here you can take it as Sad Asat is, our commentator is taking the Sad Asat as, he is taking, he is saying Bhava Bhava Vivarjitam actually. So you can take it as it is other than that which exists and that which not exists also you can say. It is beyond even classifications like existence and non-existence. That is one way. Or we can take it as Sat is the manifest world and Asat is the Abhyakta or the cause, and it is beyond cause and effect. That which is beyond cause and effect, that way also we can take this Sadasat Vihinam means it is it doesn't have or it is distinct from both cause and effect. Like that also we can take this. It is beyond causality. Causality also is only a superimposition. As long as you see the effect, we have to talk about the cause because they are mutually dependent, correct? Subject, object, cause, effect, all these things are all mutually dependent entities, interdependent. That is what is called Madhu also. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, anything which is interdependent is called as Madhu. The first two chapters themselves, it's called Madhukandam there. And there is a Madhu Brahmanam also where the Upanishad talks about the interdependence. Interdependence of everything in the Srishti. Whatever is there in the Srishti, all that is dependent on something else always. That means it cannot exist by itself. But if two things are interdependent, Upanishad itself teaches this. That means there has to be a third independent thing which has started this interdependence between these two, correct? Like as I told you, one example is our own heart, because our heart itself is pumping blood, but it cannot pump blood if already the blood is not flowing, because the blood has to flow into the heart for the heart to pump. But unless the heart pumps, blood will not flow. This is called catch 22, correct? Or mutual dependence or interdependence. So if there is a catch 22 situation, what do we do means, or how do we understand it? That there has to be a third independent system which started this whole thing. So in the case of our own heart, our mother's heart pumped the blood initially so that our heart started pumping. And then its own pumping only brings the blood to itself. Then it keeps on functioning. For so many years it is functioning, correct? That's a great machine. The heart is. So if whenever there is something mutually dependent, there has to be a third independent reality which has started this whole thing. That, and whatever is mutually dependent is Madhu and it is Mithya. That's the teaching of the Upanishad. And Brahman alone is that Satyam, which is the independent thing which has started all these things. So like that, if you see here, this Brahman is the one which is beyond cause and effect. But if you look at things as cause, effect, etc., that is fine. We can still see that. Because one, there is not, the effect is not there without the cause is also not there without the effect. It's like that, correct? There is no subject without object, and the object also, if you don't, the subject does not cognize, then there is no object also. The existence of the object also is known only when the subject is cognizing it. So these are all mutually dependent things in the Srishti, and that only points out to the independent reality of Brahman. And Brahman itself is beyond these mutually dependent things. It's independent of all these things. So that is the Sadasad Vihinam. And further what? Prayati Shuddham Paramatma Rupam. And so the one who knows in this manner, Prayati, attains, gains, or goes, or enters, you can say what? Paramatma Rupam. So attains this Paramatma Rupa. So Paramatma means people can generally they translate as supreme self and all that. So okay, it is like the supreme star and all they say. Even in Tamil Nadu they have all this superlative they use. Ultimate, supreme. Yeah, Paramatma is, you can translate as supreme self in the sense that otherwise you think you are a puny individual and all that. So Upanishad comes and says you are the Paramatma. Your real Swarupa is Paramatma Swarupa only. It is not Jivatma really. So you gain or you attain this Paramatma Swarupa, which is Shuddham. Again, Shuddham means, as I told you, it is not that you were impure and then you became pure. You are always Nitya Shuddha. You are always Shuddha only. You have to only recognize that. You were never tainted by anything. Neither guilt, fear, papa, punya, nothing, no karma, not even ignorance. You are not tainted by anything. You are always pure only because you are asanga. You are not untouched by any. You are not touched by anything. You are not connected to anything itself. So in this manner, the Upanishad is revealing to us our true Swarupa. So like the Upanishad started in the beginning, correct? There also it gave so many words for us to contemplate on. Similarly, even now also we saw that the last few vakyas are all for contemplation. So we have to see ourselves in the light of these words. It's not for just reading and all that. Understand? If you read that vakya, then you have to see yourself in the light of that particular word. Each and every word, even one word you can take and contemplate on that. That's what is Nidhyasana. And that should also remove any wrong notions you have about yourself. So that's why somewhat repetitive also. You can see that. But always repetition is not a dosha in Vedanta. That's what we always say. that repetition is required. We have to repeatedly, even as I told you, even in Bhagavan, in the Gita also, Bhagavan is repeatedly saying the same thing. Whatever he said in the second chapter, he says in the third chapter, fourth, up to 18th chapter, he is almost repeating the same teaching only. But Arjuna had to listen so many times. Finally, he says, Nashto, Mohaha, Smritir Labdha, and all that. Okay, after Bhagavan taught for 18 chapters, then he says, my Moha is gone. Now I have gained certain knowledge and I will go and fight and all that. But in fact, the funny thing is, if you read Mahabharata, there is one Anugita also is there. I don't know how. If you read the Anugita, Arjuna says, I have forgotten whatever you taught me. You again teach. He tells Krishna. And Krishna says, no, no, I won't teach you again. You have to read that. I thought I will even conduct a class on that Anugita. It's a very interesting text. I have to go and dig it out. So during in the battlefield, he said, okay, Nashto Moha and all that. We assume that Arjuna has become a jnani, correct? But in the Mahabharata, the funny thing is, later on, after all the war is over, everything, Arjuna has become a king and they are all settled, they are all enjoying, and then he has forgotten. It's like, that's what I thought. All of you say while attending the class, everything is clear, correct? Same thing has happened to Arjuna also. It's not that only it happens to you or us. Arjuna said, okay, he says again, but Krishna at that time he says, I won't teach you. And I think he sends him to somebody else. You go and talk to like that. So that's why the repetition is very important. And also you have to keep on, you have to be at it till the time a certain, this knowledge is firm and is always availability. That is the whole idea here. Okay, so only some couple of more verses are there, and maybe since some more time is there, we can even look at the this Shanti mantra and all that. We'll see that. We'll see those things in the next few classes. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.